Scientists have found that patients tend to grow as an angry adults of depression and anxiety, a traumatic childhood, and worse the trauma, more adults are even more angry. This may affect personal mental health and social interaction, but makes it difficult to treat depression and anxiety. The study is presented at the European Psychiatry Congress in Paris. Previously, researchers found that more than 40% of patients with both anxiety and depression were anger tendency. This is compared with only 5% of healthy controls. This study designed to investigate the cause of depression and anxiety disorders for several years. And worked with the data obtained from anxiety.The study. Since 2004, study received participants between ages of 18 to 65 and began to question about their childhood. 2,276 people participated at end of study. Working for years, loss of parental, parent divorce or placement in care of any childhood trauma was able to discover the neglect and neglected to participants. They asked questions about emotional, physical and sexual abuse. Participants were also checked for various psychiatric symptoms related to depression and anxiety, including anger tendency and how it shows itself. Chief Researcher Nienkie de Bles said, in general, there is a surprisingly little research about anger. Holland depression and anxiety work is a well-established work that produces numerous scientific data. But looking at the data about childhood trauma and seeing whether it depends on the increasing level of anger. We found that there was a connection. Emotional neglect, physical or psychological abuse of anxious or depressive people, the likelihood of anger problems 1.3 to 2 times higher. We can't say, but the connection is clear. As the tendency grow up with emotional negligence, as the tendency grow adults who are angry or easily angry, we found that physically abused had more tend anger attacks or antisocial personality traits. He continued, it can make personal interactions more difficult and can be consequences for your mental health and prosperity. If a person inflates anger, the therapist may not see. Even if the existing does not exhibit anger, we believe that asking for anger and anxiety patients about and past trauma. He must try to understand the case for him. Dr. Julian Beezhold commented, this study looks at the slightly neglected symptom of anger and its relationship with childhood experience. Dulgular is compatible with what we see in daily clinical practice, and hopefully it will help to raise awareness of both anger and relevant childhood trauma. This is an independent comment. Dr. Beezhold was not included in this study. The European Psychiatry Congress takes place in Paris between 25 to 28 March 2023. Notes: